Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Voice of the Voiceless. My name is Toyin Morafa, and I'll be talking to you today about all the problems we're still facing with regards to gang violence. This morning, I've got the pleasure of having two young, beautiful ladies with me that'll be asking questions, and they will be helping us, answer the different reasons that we have why those kids, why they're behaving the way they are right now. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce both of them. On my right, you've got Miss Michelle Dornelley.
Yes.
And on the left, you've got Miss Patricia Edwards.
Hello.
Thank you very much, ladies,
Welcome.
for coming to the show. Before we go any further, I'd like you ladies to introduce yourself to the people watching at home. So, Miss Dornelley, would you like to start?
Okay. Okay. Right, my name is Michelle Dornelley, and I live in Hackney, and I'm a parent to four three kings and one queen. Okay, so I live in a particular area where there is a lot of gang violence, trouble, poverty, and I set up an organisation called Children with Voices in order to combat that. So we tackle childhood obesity, gang crime, postcode wars, and poverty. That's me.
Thank you very much, Miss Dornelley. I'll put the same question to Miss Edwards. Would you like to introduce yourself to the people watching?
Hi, my name is Patricia Edwards. I work on behalf of a council that does a lot of antisocial behaviour, noise, nuisance, and I'm here to identify the stuff that's going on with gun violence, as well as working alongside Michelle, dealing with certain situations with gun violence and everything else. So that's what I'm here for.
Thank you very much, ladies. Well, let's just start straight away, and I'll start by asking you a couple of questions, Ms. Dornelley. Like you say, you've got your own project called Children with Voices.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you'll be an expert in most of the things that I'll be asking you. So first and foremost, before we go really, really deep into the whole discussion, what characteristics do you think the victims and perpetrators of youth that are involved in gang violence, what characteristics do you think they share?
Okay. This is going to be quite a long one, and I know we've got an hour,
That's
so
fine.
it's all good. Okay. So young people and children are mostly in the same rowing boat. There's one or both parents unemployed, we're living in overcrowded conditions, which create tensions and an excuse to stay out and away from home. So hence, you will get the young children, they'll finish school,
Right.
and they won't necessarily go straight home.
Right.
Now this is going to be because the government has got parents working all hours, so you've got a choice between raising your child or helping the government to raise theirs.
Right.
Okay, so while you're at work, you don't sort of like see when the child leaves to go to school, so they don't have breakfast, you don't know what they're wearing.
Right.
When it's time to come home, I've seen children, from 4 o'clock, I've come back out and they're still at the same place at 6 o'clock.
That's right.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, do these mothers not know where their children are? Are they going after school club? Do you know they're going after school club? I don't think so. And so it's getting to the case where we're either becoming complacent because we're working so hard and it's really hard out there, or it's just got to the case where because the government has stopped us from disciplining our children,
Right.
we don't have no control over them, so we just decide, well, boy, at the end of the day, I'm not taking it on, do what you've got to do. Other situations is home life, so there's many factors. I mean, there's a lot of children that are going through their parents' domestic abuse.
That's true.
So if it's not the father that's being abusive, it could be a child who's got anger issues, because you get a lot of parents now that are being attacked by their children. Okay, right. Okay, so you've got that.
Are there any reasons, do you think, any reasons why they're attacking, their parents these days? Does it have to do with their gang involvement, or is that the start of their anger?
Okay. A lot of our children, we're going through a lot of mental illness issues, okay? Nobody likes that word, and the young people don't like that word.
That's true.
But then they class depression as mental illness, okay? So let's go on that. We've got a lot of children via the drugs that we have, when we do have our children, are producing children with ASD and ADHD. Now, because these children have these illnesses, the school's not taking it on board, so it's the parents that are suffering at home. So we're suffering at home with a child that's got these behaviour issues and we don't understand. And because we're trying to sort of like control our child in the way where we want to make sure that they're been brought up properly and got the manners. It's a combat. Now they go to school and it's not being dealt with, so they get frustrated at school, yeah, because school sometimes is not really a positive environment for our children in the way that they treat our children. So the children would get angry. Again, it could be a gang as well. I mean, a mother could say to her son, "You're not going out." But this child needs to go out because he needs to go and handle his business outside. So his loyalties, even though he loves his mum, his loyalties is to the man outside, because this man outside could kill him.
That's true.
Yeah, that's the dire side of it, you know. So there's lots of reasons. I mean, we see a lot of programs where you've got like little 5-year-olds attacking their mums.
That's true.
It's just this anger issue. It's just the fact that we can't discipline our children anymore. So whereas before, you know, you get told off or, you know, go to school, that's what I'm saying. Right. You know, I've seen children slap their parents and the parents can do nothing. All the parents can do is to stop it. You can't even try to restrain your child, because then you've got social services, you've got the police, and you've got people out there. So we have our children, but it's not ours, because whereas we want to raise and discipline our children and bring them up the best we possibly can, society has said, well, you have the child and we take care of it, and that's what's happening.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I'm going to throw the same question at you now, Tricia, as well. What do you think are contributing factors to the youth anger these days? Why they're taking it out on the parents and the society? You know, is it because we don't have enough youth clubs anymore, or is there no other way, or the way they're socializing obviously is different from the way we did back in the days?
How we socialized, we didn't have a lot of things, but we utilized our minds to do things, whereas today you've got mobile phones, you've got tablets, you've got everything else. So it's taken away from the focus of what they're supposed to keep their eyes on. And being the society of today is giving them too much choices to do what they want when they want to do it. Do you understand? And when you're speaking to your children, they feel they can backchat you. Do you understand? Back in my time, I would dare not speak to my mum a certain way. My mum just gives me the eye and I would say, that's it, end of conversation. You know, now it's one of those things that when you speak to a child, I've heard children sit on the bus and they're cussing their mums, telling them about themselves, saying that they're going to call childline. Now, to me, that's a big disrespect to the mother. Do you understand? Whether you're single, whether you're married, it doesn't matter. It's the child, you know. So, to me, it's a lot of factors, and it's about giving us as parents the reins to be able to deal with our children appropriately. Right. Do you understand? And taking that control back to deal with our children with respect. Right. Because nowadays there's no form of respect.
Anywhere.
Nowhere. It doesn't matter. You're who you are, how old you are. They don't care how they talk to you.
That's
you know. So I think what it is, there's a lot of things that the government has done, to be quite honest, that has contributed also to them, giving them too much freedom.
Thank you very much for that, Ms. Edwards. Before we go any further, I'd like to introduce a new partner that we're liaising with, where I'm pleased to announce that we'll be liaising with a young fashion designer that he's residing in Nigeria, and I think he resides in America as well. His name is Morafa, Morafa Official. He will be helping us to set up a new project that we're having regarding that we're trying to target, you know, children that are being excluded. Excluded from schools, to make sure that we give them like the requisite skills that they can use, you know, that to start their own businesses.
Definitely,
so thank you very much, Mr. Morafa. We will still go more into the details, but before we do that, I'd like to throw some more questions at you, ma'am. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I watched on TV where all these police officers were being beaten up. This was around Merton, and that shows that a lack of respect in the youth now. I mean, they're not hiding it anymore. They're showing it on social media. How do you think that affects them as well? And what ways can we use to curb that?
Right, okay, that's a tough one, because you know, a lot of this, I mean, like, you know, we can blame the government on a lot of this, and as we go through the questions, I will be playing devil's advocate and I will be blaming the parents, especially the fathers. Sorry, but that's just how it goes. But in regards to this, a lot of us parents, we have a stereotype with the police, so that's automatic. You see with these young youths, they're growing up, social media has been a platform where it's bringing news from all over the world. So whereas we didn't know how much brutality, police brutality was outside there. It's now coming into on our phones. So we're seeing the police in America beat up a black boy. We're seeing him just stand there getting shot. So all this is unfair, all this is unjust. But that's over there. If we're dealing with the problem over here, again with the stop and search, yes, it's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but they need to use it productively, okay?
Right.
Okay, so I've got children, okay, and if I say that, you know, my son has to just walk out the door and they'd be on him because we live in that area. Right. 26 tickets he would have got. And that's just really ridiculous for just because he's black, you know, he has his hair, he dresses a certain way, and we just live in a particular area.
That's right.
So I just think that these youths are just tired. They're tired of yeah, they're fed up. They're fed up with the police, you know, attacking them, and then you're beating them up. And again, I'm sorry, my son has been part of that police brutality where they have attacked my son, and they know that he's disabled. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear, when other youths see this, there is no respect. You know, you're just a man who's using your uniform as a law, but without that uniform, you're not like one of us. So now the youths are looking at you like, oh boy, you know what? You're one of us. You've just got that uniform, but that uniform don't mean nothing because you don't respect us. You seem to forget. The youth need to have respect, not because they're young and they're children. Don't be thinking they don't know nothing. They need to have respect as well, and they're not getting it. So if the police are just coming around, just stopping them willy-nilly, roughing them up, embarrassing them up in the main road, what do you expect? They're going to retaliate. I don't agree with it. But you know what? Sometimes enough is enough. What we need some positive young youths to find another way of dealing with this, and it's not going to be easy, but to find another way so we can be better than they are. You know what I mean? We don't have to put ourselves on that even kill. But like I said, we have a lot of angry youths, and I'm not just going to keep saying youths, we have a lot of angry parents. So you will get the parents doing the same thing, you get some men doing the same thing. But the youths are kind of bright and bold now. They're filming everything, and they're kind of saying, well, you know what, we don't care, this is us now. We're not putting up with what we do. What we put up with, you know. You know, my stepdad could tell me stories of how he was attacked back in the days. Racism exists then. It got hushed a bit. It got hushed a bit with us, but then it's coming back out of the woodwork. You know what I'm saying? So the boys are just taking it into their own hands. They're just saying enough is enough. You know.
That's right. Oh, thank you very much, Miss Williams. And that leads me to a different question for you, Miss Edwards. I know you're a single mother of two beautiful ladies. Yes, and a lot of people have been trying to blame the single mothers out there, saying that it's because there's no father figure in the house. That's the reason why all those kids are going haywire. What's your take on this? What's your view on this?
First and foremost, as a young, strong black woman, it hasn't been easy to grow up my two children.
Right.
And considering that the fathers are there, and one ain't there, you know, I'm not afraid to say that, but I've had to be the mother and the father in everything. To be quite fair, it depends on the woman and it depends on the individual, because I'm not saying I was growing up in a perfect place, but at the same time my mum was a strong woman, and I think that's what she showed me to be. And I have installed that, especially manners, respect and discipline in my children. Do you understand? Respect your elders, you know, respect anybody, you know, show respect, and at the end of the day, respect should be earned, really and truly, because at the end of the day, if you don't respect me, there's no way a child's going to respect you. I
know your children are in school and they're doing very well in school. How are you able to instill that discipline, especially since the area that, you know, you're living in as well, you know, has got a huge blight, you know, of kind of violence and things that could like lead them like the wrong way.
Being in Hackney, born and bred in Hackney, it hasn't been easy. But at the same time, I don't hide nothing from my children no more. Whereas when my mum was growing us up, she would hide certain things because she didn't want us to know certain things. But in this society, I think it's important that you sit down and speak to your children. Because I do speak to my children. Half the time when I'm coming from work, I'm tired and I still have to speak to them. But at the same time, it's like, but Mum, I understand what you're saying, and I always make sure I let them know that I do love them.
That's right.
Do you understand me? And my little one loves her cuddles, my big one loves her cuddles. And I think it's important because at the end of the day, it's not easy for me to be a single mother, but I have to do what I have to do to make sure they're strong. So in the whole spectrum, I don't hide nothing. We talk about things that is necessary. The government has made it so, you know, it's in their faces, so I can't run from it.
That's true.
What can I do? Years ago, there's certain things that my mum would turn around and say, just go upstairs, or she would brush off. But at the same time, at that time, it was protecting us.
Right.
You know. Right. But now I think these kids need to know what's going on. There's so much social media that it's in their faces, and when they come to you and say, Mum, what's this? You can't turn around and say, oh, go upstairs. No, you're going to have to explain it to them, because then they're going to want to go out there and investigate it. And I prefer, for me as a parent, to sit down and talk to them about it and say, this is wrong, this is right. If there's a consequence, and if you do, this is what's going to happen.
And be friends, basically you're friends
with them. I'm first, no. I'm mummy first.
That's right.
Friends second.
Right. And then you have the boundaries.
Then I've got my boundaries overrule. Do you understand? My daughter's 18, she still has to abide by rules.
That's right.
I deal with rules in my house.
Your house.
And it's important, because at the end of the day, it's about discipline, really.
That's true. That's right.
It's about discipline. At the same time, yes, as mothers, remember, God never gave us a handbook to be parents. We've just installed what my mother's been taught, my grandma's been taught, and what I've had to learn along the way. Roll it up into one ball, and now I have to feed my children with certain knowledge about slavery, everything, so they know what's going on. So when they go outside, they can say, well, my mum did prepare me for that. So they either deal with it how they want to deal with it, not how I would.
Especially when it's
in the exactly. Do you understand? No children is perfect, but I've got to try and do what I do.
Thank you very much, Ms. Edwards.
Not a problem.
One of the reasons why we're lazy with Morafa official back home is because, like I said, most of these kids are excluded. My research, I found out that some of them can be excluded from mainstream education for as much as 5 years, sometimes even more than that. So they don't have the chance to relate with the other children in mainstream education. So sometimes there's a lot of things that they're not equipped with. You see, that's the reason why we're trying to get them to get a mentor like Mr. Morafa, who was born on the 25th of May 1991.
Same day my son.
Oh, really? That's how we're getting mentors like that. We want them to be able to look up to people like that and say that if he can do it, I can do it. And that brings me back to a question, you know, because of this exclusion in schools. How does that affect the children's literacy?
Oh boy, okay. That's another topic that we'll go deeper into, but what I will say is that, okay, so the schools, again, I would say they are destroying a lot of our children of colour, because our children are very bright and creative and intelligent. That just goes without saying. If we look about the things that were invented, the majority of the stuff were invented by us, okay? So we're very clever. At school, they try to dumb you down. So I've worked in nurseries where the environment, the building, the pictures on the wall does not reflect the children that are attending the environment. And so racism starts as soon as nurseries.
That's true.
Exclusion, okay, exclusion, they start that exclusion from the age of 5, you know, and you would think to yourself, the age of 5, why would you want to exclude a child and not sort of like look into the background? But it's easy for them to exclude. Primary school, the rate that they're excluding these boys at is ridiculous, and the things that they're excluding them for is even more ridiculous. I mean, you've got children being excluded, but then when you check it, they've got a disability, a special needs, but it wasn't being addressed, or the teacher refused to acknowledge it. So this child is struggling in school and doing the same pattern behaviour. So if you were a clever person, if you were the person who took the job seriously and wanted to do what you set out to do, then you'd look at that child and you say, there's something not quite right, let me see if I can get this child assessed, or let me help the mother. But they don't do that. So the mothers are struggling, because it's us as the mothers that know our children, and we're saying, something's not quite right, we need to go and find help. And it's us that's going to these organisations, and us that's asking for this help.
So is that one of the reasons why you decided to set up your organisation, Children's with Voices? Are these the problems you were able to encounter, or those ones you were able to see? Was that the reason why you set up your project?
Right, okay, if you, the gangs, and the boys on the street. Now the boys on the street are not on the street at night.
True.
They're on the street from morning and in the day. They should be at school.
That's true.
Right, so if you chuck a child out of school, and you do not equip that child, you do not have a safety net to say, you know what, I'm going to put you in this unit, but you know what, I'm going to support you with this mentor, this person, just to change how you behave and us to put you back into mainstream. Then we won't have the amount of trouble that we're having, i.e. the amount of gangs, because we won't have the amount of boys to go into these gangs, because these boys will be getting educated, okay? Now you take that away and you just throw the black boy away, he's out on the street. Now mum has to work,
That's true.
right, because she has to put food on the table, okay?
Right.
So she can't be in the house. So now automatically the boy's at home, it's on the streets.
That's true.
Because now that's his family, because now his family from 9 o'clock to whatever time of night, he's with them 24/7, and that's where it starts to take over. So exclusion, whereas the government think it's a good thing, it's the most disgusting thing ever, right? Because you're pushing our boys out on the street, because what you're telling them is, you're no good for the school, right?
You're not good for
you're
society.
no good for society, yeah, you're worthless,
Go
on the street. And then what the boys, don't forget, you've got boys who are just about to enter their GCSE being excluded. How disgusting and horrible is that? You know what I'm saying? Give the child a chance, let them get educated, and you deal with them a different way. There's always different ways to deal with a child. Because us as parents, what do we do when our children are no? Do we kick them out? What do we do? We lock them in the basement?
No.
Right, we have to deal with them, we have to talk to them. So all we're asking is, you schools can't do that, then work with us parents to do that, okay? Right, so basically, coming back to the characteristics, victims and perpetrators.
Right.
Okay, so you've got the perpetrators, and this is where I'd come back to the parents and the men, okay? So you have to understand, when we have our children, we don't have our children and they're going to come out saying, I'm going to join a gang.
That's true.
Right? We come out, we have our children and we want them to have aspirations and dreams and to do the things that we weren't able to do, but at least we can open doors for them because we know what to do.
That's right.
Right. So who was the main culprit? You had men that were doing this well before, and they started to recruit our children.
That's
Right? So you've got big men of colour sitting there in your high office with your money, and you're going outside and you're now trying to take my child, your child, and your child to do the run-ins.
Right.
Why?
That's true.
Right, so you have made that stance. You have decided to go and take our children and to do this. It wasn't anybody else of any colour. But it's our own, right? So we need to stamp that problem. Stop blaming the government to a certain degree, and let's look into our own community. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's our men that have taken our children, and that's doing it. So it goes down the ranks, doesn't it? So the old guy, either he gets locked up or he retires or whatever. Then another one takes it, and then this person who's taken it will recruit younger ones.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's still our own men that's recruiting our children to do this. That's what I'm saying. So we need to look into ourselves, okay? So those people that have been doing it from time, they've been kicked out of school. So they've got no education. They don't know nothing. They're illiterate. So our young boys that have had a bit of schooling, they should be looking at themselves and thinking, boy, hold on a minute. Why am I doing this for this man? I've got more education than him. He doesn't even know how to spell blah, blah, blah. Let me just leave it. But they are illiterate. And so because they're illiterate, they ain't going to get no education. Because they're going to get no education, they're going to get no job. Because they're going to get no decent job, they're going to get no money. This is all they know. This is their life. So without this money, they are nothing. Yeah, it's all about reputation as well. So again, it is about that. But then again, I will go as far as saying it's the men in our community, but I will go further. I will actually say it's the men who access the radio stations, it's the producers. I normally listen to Premier Gospel in my kitchen, and my son decided to turn it over to Kiss every so often, or Capital.
Right.
And I remember they're playing this grime song now, so the grime song's all meant to be alright, yeah? And I'm listening to it one day, I don't know why, I was just listening to it. And I heard about the boys saying, well, you know, this goes for this week and this goes for that week, and, you know, and I'm thinking, hold on a minute, my son is listening to that, so already we've got boys singing about how to disrespect women, and our children are listening to it, and the girls are listening to it, and the girls are dancing to it, so the girls have no self-worth.
That's true.
Yeah, the girls do not respect themselves.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's fine, I'm getting a bit passionately.
I can tell that. You're still going to go on there. I'm not stopping you with that. The only thing I wanted to say was that there was a day I was in McDonald's, and there was like these three boys. I think they would have been more as older than like 15, 16. And one of them happens to be rapping, so I was listening to the rap about how he's got his AK-47, he's going to go out there and he's going to go and shoot people. And I'm thinking, this is 6 o'clock, you should be at home by now. You should not be in here, singing all the songs, which is the reason what you're saying just now brought that back to me. So please carry on. So it's
yeah, I mean, it's like parents, again, parents, we need to own this rubbish, because I would never buy my son an Xbox. Couldn't afford it. What's the point? It's just going to have him in the room, on the computer, looking, and a lot of the times our children are suffering from depression in that state as well. I'll come back to that another time.
Right.
But then, you've got 8-year-olds on an Xbox watching a game for like an 18-year-old. These games, parents, they're showing your child how to kill.
That's
Yeah,
true.
they're showing your child how to hold a gun. I can't even hold a gun. How to hold a gun and to kill and feel no way.
That's true.
Right? Because you're sitting there and you've got your earphones and you're with your friends and you're talking. Yeah, I'm gonna kill that person. But there's no emotion, there's no nothing, so you're just killing, okay? This is what the parents are buying the children. So at the end of the day, you need to own it, okay? If your child is going out there killing, you need to own that rubbish because you introduced them to an Xbox when you could have introduced them to the library.
That's right.
Right? You tell a youth about history and slavery, they'll be, well, boy, I'm not interested in that, that wasn't my time. What do you mean that wasn't your time? But that's what you hear, but the parents are not telling their children, and you know what, parents, I don't care. You've got your social media, okay, and it's not about looking at the latest hair, even though mine looks nice. It's not about looking at the latest makeup or the latest designer dress. It's about you going on there and you can find information about Africa. I've got a whole lot of stuff on my Facebook, and that's all I deal with, and that gives me information about slavery, what happened, what didn't happen, who done this, who didn't do that, and I pass it on through my group.
Right.
Now, it's not hard to do. Parents can do that. Rather than you watch the last Beanie Man track or whatever, get something and teach your children. I used to, every time my son used to come home from school, we used to go on the YouTube. What subject? Cowboys. Mum, was there black cowboys?
Yes,
Favourite cause were black cowboys. The original, you see, bucking the whole, when they go and chase the cows. Originally from the black boy, They escaped or they were free, they had their land, all of that came from black cowboys.
Hannibal was black. Hannibal was black.
Yeah, you've got all the names, but it's all being whitewashed, so the kids are not knowing that. Classic Egyptian. At school I was told that Cleopatra was white, okay, and that's what I had to adhere to. But why are you fooling us? Cleopatra was never white, she was born in Africa, she was black. But they're still telling the children of this stance now, so that's what I'm saying. Parents, please just wake up and smell the coffee. Ask your children what they're learning. Please take the time. I know you're tired, but please take the time to look at your children's books. Ask them questions about what's going on, what they've learned, how they've interpreted what they learned. Because I was quite stubborn at school. I refused to learn history. If my teacher's watching, he knew I wasn't watching about no cotton mill.
I didn't even like watching.
Which, I'd like you to say.
Sorry.
No,
I just couldn't take that in because King Edward, I was like to my history teacher, who is he? What did he do? You know, and to me it's not important. Right. And when we spoke about black history, it was like a huff and a puff. And I was like, come on, this is about me.
So what do you think we should be teaching these kids in school?
Teach them who they are, where they're from, so they know where they're going.
Right.
Do you understand? Right. You have to have the basics. And the basics is knowing who you are. Right. Do you understand? Your worth. Right. We are worth a lot. Do you understand? We once loved one another. We once helped one another. As my mum said years ago, your people them can come through the door and it's not a problem. Now we have to put gates on our door. Do you understand? We need to teach them who they are. Some of these boys are lost.
Very much so.
Yeah? They are princesses, they are kings, they are queens.
That's true.
Do you understand me? They need to know who they are. We don't come from poor foundations. We come from riches. That's where we come from, and that's why it's important to know where they are. Because at the end of the day, as Michelle was saying, there's a lot of history. The first light bulb was made by a black man. Do you understand? The NSA went, a car, Fords. These are things that everything. The Iceman was a black man who started to do ice, then it was taken over by a white man. Because at the end of the day, why should you be making that money and you shouldn't? Do you understand? Once in the 57, there was just a group of black people that owned houses, banks, everything. There's
Black Wall Street.
Wall Street.
And we were so productive. That's what I'm saying. We've gone backwards. We had our own shops, our own banks, our own everything. That was a black town. We was running everything. America didn't like it, so they bombed it. But what I'm trying to say to you, coming from slavery, they were able to do that. Right? And then they've done that. It got bombed. What have we done?
We ain't done nothing.
What have we done to make our ancestors proud? What have we done to make the struggle proud? What have we done? What have we achieved?
So do you think these are the things that we need to let these children know?
The children need to know they come from power. The children need to know that they're creative. The children need to know that you see in this head, no matter who tells you you're dumb and you're stupid, you are not. We are very creative with our hands. Very creative. So we can make stuff, okay, so in Africa now you've got a lot of these young geniuses. You've got a doctor who's just qualified in something else. You've got a couple of girls who can do something with urine, that can do something with the water. You've got another guy who made something out of rubber. We're so creative, and it goes back to the inventions. most of the inventions were invented by black people. And
Right.
that's what I'm saying, which have now sort of like
Been brushed off.
Brushed
Yeah.
off. Our children need to know that yes, they are royalty. They come from royalty. We are sun children. Don't be scared of the sun.
No.
Respect your skin colour. Doesn't matter how dark or how light you
You're
are.
beautiful.
Yeah, at school, right, we had a couple of
You're
girls bleaching
beautiful.
themselves, and they'd be like, "Well, Misha," and I'm like, "I love the colour of my skin. I love it. I ain't bleaching nowhere. I'll
That's
go
it.
away and I'll
Take
sit in
me
the sun,
as
and I'll
I
get black." You understand? That's my vitamin D. I'm a sun
That's it.
child. Yeah,
There you go.
I don't have to be. But
There
you
you
get a
go.
lot of us now, because society is accepting more the white and the paler skin. A lot of us want to bleach because it
That's
makes us look
absolutely right.
beautiful, but
That's
it
right.
doesn't, because you're ruining your body and yours is self-hate.
Yes.
As a young person,
But this
why would you
is
have to
isn't that
self-hate?
what they were aiming for in
Of
the
course.
beginning?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, in order to destroy a man, you have to destroy their mind.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where it's coming from, slavery. Because at the end of the day, it's amazing how you can learn so much about who you are and respect more of who you are. Love more self.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's about loving self.
Self-love.
They didn't want us to love us. They, you know, when with slavery, they made us inbreed with our own sister or our own brother, just in order to have another child,
Well,
a strong black male or a
Um,
strong black
can
female.
I
So
cut
it's
you
a lot
off
of
there
stuff.
quickly, because you, a lot of people, when we're talking about things like that, issues like that, histories like that, and we're trying to educate these people, they find it uncomfortable.
Some
You
do,
say,
some
yeah,
don't.
they find, you know,
The
it's
truth
a
always is
that's
uncomfortable,
so
yeah.
hard. But do you feel we should push on regardless and let
Oh,
these
God, yes.
children know
Yes,
where
listen.
we come from,
If-
so that we can be able to
Okay,
re-engineer
now
their brains?
if we don't, okay, then we're setting them up to fail.
Right.
And we're wiping out our history
And
as
we're
well.
wiping out on our history. Do you understand? We are the biggest population, yet the strongest population. Yet we cannot see that.
Mm,
Do you understand? Why can't we see that?
mm.
Because they brainwashed us so much to make us believe that we're not worth nothing.
Even like the skin tone, even somebody would say, well, I'm too dark or you're too dark and she's nice and red. And that's another black
I'm
person saying
red.
it to another black person.
brown.
That's what they would say. That's what they say. Right? That's what they say. But that's what I'm saying. So we're fighting not only about that you've got a bottom and I don't, but we're fighting about the skin colour. You're too dark, so I'm not interested. You've got a guy who's on YouTube or on Facebook saying that he's not going to be with a black woman because he's not a dark child. And that's a black man. And you've got an older black man saying the same thing.
So what do you think that is? He doesn't even know his own worth.
Of course
So
he's
he's lost himself. So it's someone that he's not even educated. Do you understand?
And this is a man. So yes,
This is
we
a man.
do need to, because I think like, okay, so I remember like I was teaching in school, and I said to the kids, you know what, I don't mind teaching you a bit of black history. You know, we'll have like a section, we'll go to the library, we'll investigate and whatever. And the school turned around, the kids wanted it, and the school turned around and told me, oh, well, we have pastoral teachers that deal with it. And I said, but you know what, the difference between the teachers in school is that the kids are not going to relate, they're going to relate to somebody like me because I'm outside of the
That's
school.
true.
I have to, and I'll speak a different way.
That's true.
So the school blocked it on that, and the school would always block the fact.
Because they don't
Now,
want the truth.
the Jewish people can know about
They
their
don't want the
history,
truth.
and they can do at a town hall, they can put a little wreath down about the Holocaust and whatnot, so forth, so forth, yeah? So what happened to us?
Exactly.
Right.
We're not supposed to talk about it because it makes everyone feel uncomfortable. Of course it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, because if you look at what you did to us and how you shaped us, you better feel uncomfortable.
Right.
If you knew what you did to the men, if we told you again what you did to our men, that would make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If we told you again what you did to our women, that would make you feel uncomfortable. But because you didn't do it to the Jewish people, because Germany did it to the Jewish people, we can talk about it. That everybody, including England, had a part in slavery and built their wealth on slavery. So obviously it's going to be a touchy subject to handle.
Do you think we're suffering from those repercussions now, especially, you know, with all these things that's happening with the kids around the area?
We're suffering the backlash. And like I said, you have some strong women, like Patricia said, yeah?
Right.
You have some strong women, knowledgeable women, fighting women.
Right.
I believe I come from a tribe, whether it's Nat Turner's tribe, I don't know, but I'm very, very strong and tough, and I don't take no for an answer, and I don't pretty up when I'm talking to officials. I will tell you exactly how it is, whether you like it or not.
Right.
So for me, we need more parents like that. I know it's hard. I know you're struggling, but my thing is about uniting. So if there's one woman who's crying by herself, there's another woman who's crying by themselves. Let's all unite together and cry together. But we're all bitching about each other. Oh, your hair don't look good. Oh, you see what she's wearing. You see her nails. Why is that even concerning? Just turn around and say to the woman, your hair looks nice, your dress looks nice, your shoes looks nice. You understand what I'm saying? What's going on with you?
It's also good to even turn around to a woman, because sometimes I've noticed that I saw a woman walking down the road and you can see in her facial expression, body language, it tells a lot of things. And she's like, she was crying. And, you know, I just looked at her and I said, are you okay? And she said, yeah, I'm all right. You know, when you don't really want to discuss, I said, listen, you're a beautiful woman. Like, whatever's going on in your life, just be careful what you do. And it's like she felt more comfortable to even tell me everything, you know. And she said, oh, thank you. And I said, listen, sometimes people don't notice there's someone out there hurting. And if you do facially see it, there's nothing wrong with saying, are you alright?
Exactly.
Just a little, are you alright is not that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The same with when I'm working and I've got the youths and I'm seeing the youths doing what they're doing, and you've got some of the girls, you know, going into their own phase of talking and everything else. And when I do speak to them, I'm like, how are you, what are you doing? You know, they've got a lot of concern, they've got a lot of heart. You know, a lot of heart.
Got some beautiful young people outside.
Some beautiful girls that it's like, wow, you are knowledgeable, but it's been wasted. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just been wasted. Why are you here? I have to ask them, why are you here?
Thank you very much, Ms. Edwards. That leads me on to the next question, Ms. Dornelley. It's about the impact that the friends this youth keep, the impact that it has on them. You know, because they want the sense of belonging. They want to feel, you know, the same way with their friends. How great an impact do you think that this has on them, especially if you're rolling with the wrong friends, the ones that are like very materialistic?
Okay, so again, this government has created, it's a big plan of yours, but you've created estates, block of estates, yeah. Right. So you're going to have, you know, families. You're going to have that kind of setting in an estate. First and foremost. Right. Now, living in the estate, it brings everyone on the same level. For one, you want an estate. Two, living on an estate, it's going to be overcrowded. Right. So, out of the estate, you're going to have a good couple of houses that are overcrowded. That's your common link, yeah. Right. You know, you ain't got your own space. You want to do whatever you want to do in your own space, and you can't, yeah. Single parent, that's a common thing with the group of kids. Right. If you've got parents, then, like I said, you might have a parent who works 24/7, or you might have a parent who's being abused with domestic violence. Okay, so again, they're the common links. And so when the child's coming out of that, and then, you know, you're going to the same kind of school, so because there's no youth club or no facilities, your hangout now is a takeaway shop, it's a chicken shop, and that also makes good for the parent, because it is a cheap, a cost-effective meal that's hot. Right. Yeah, but it's no good, but that's what they can afford. So everyone gathers round there at school and everyone talks and laughs. Now, if your child who's got the I don't know, what's it, Reebok? Is that anything? Yeah. And you're sitting there and you're sort of like, your trousers are kind of creased up, but everyone likes you because you're funny. Because if you ain't got nothing and your friends, even though they ain't got nothing either, but one of them might have a Nokia, and even though it's not an up-to-date phone, you ain't got one. The reason why you're in that group is because you've grown together from nursery and they know you, or you're a funny character. You sort of like think to yourself, well, I haven't got anything, so for me to be with this group, I've got to give them something, so I've got to be funny. And even if that means you're getting told off at school all the time, you're in now. Right, okay, so you're there. The only thing that's making you different is your friends are slightly dressed a little bit more upmarket than you. Right. And so you're going to want kind of like what they want. So you go into a chicken shop, you might not be able to afford a chicken meal, which is only £2. Because mummy don't give you no pocket money because she can't afford to. That's true. What makes it a little bit different is your friend, he gets like a little fiver, yeah? Mum's in the same kind of boat, but she can manage a little fiver. So you go to the chicken shop, he may say, I'm going to buy you your chicken and chips. You're sitting there, you're laughing, you don't know. Because like I said, these perpetrators, they watch you. So they watch and see what your household is like. Right. There was a story up in Tower Hamlets. Right. One mother had to flee from there, okay? This is fact. Now in Tower Hamlets, what was happening is that you had big men, and because they knew that the women were at home with the children, they'd knock on the door, the woman would open it and they'd barge in, right? So the woman can't do nothing, they want the son in it. So it's like, the son, he needs to come and do some work. Right. What they were doing in the park across the estate was doing initiation. They were raping the boys. Yeah, these were the men raping the boys. Fact. that happens. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It happens, yeah. So again, the perpetrators will watch, they'll observe, yeah. And if they can't do nothing too tough, they'll have their little look-ins, they're running, so they'll have the boy that they've groomed already and say, you know what, I know you're friends with him already, man, but I want him on my books, you know what I mean? So boy, if he ain't got no money, buy him some chicken and chips. See them trainers? Boy, you buy it for him, yeah? And just say it's just... But then once the boy eats that chicken and chips, that £2 chicken and chips, you've sold yourself to the devil. Once you put those trainers on, you've sold yourself to the devil, because the guy will come back and say, well, boy, that chicken and chips went free, you know. Free, you see, the trainers that I bought you, boy, that's a job, you know. You've got to go and do some running, you know what I mean? And then they do it, and at first it's all right, because it might be after school, because again, one of the schools I was a parent governor for, it was a year 6, and I wanted to talk to them about drugs. And I was quite surprised that they knew. And one child, year 6, you know, primary school, said to me, Miss, there's one child, he goes home and he comes out on his bike and he goes and drops off. And I stood there shocked, because I was just passing on information. But to know that I was in a classroom where these children knew, of course. So the boys will come home, get on their bike, and they will run and do what they've got to do. It's kind of fun now, isn't it? Because you're out of the house, mum's not nagging you, and you're doing your stuff. You start getting a little £10, little £20. You never had £10, £20 before. Now you can go and buy your own chicken and chips. You know what I mean? Save up a little bit more. You can buy your own trainers. Boy, this is looking good. You've got a phone. Couple more runs, I could buy my phone. And that's what it is. You get to the point where the boys want to start having what everyone else has had, which is there's no reason why they shouldn't, and then they want to, then they take it upon themselves. If there's no man at home and mum is struggling but she's doing the best that she can, then they take it upon themselves. We're making these children to be adults before their time, and first of all that starts with sex. When them politicians want to lower the age of consent for sex, when a child has sex, I'm sorry, that's when they feel that they're adult, and a lot of these children are having it. Okay, so you're putting that on their head, so they act like adults, and the boys love the boys, because again, rearing boys to girls is different. Love the boys. They're very protective. They want to look after their parents. They want to look after their siblings. You know what I mean? So they will go out and they'll do a bit of extra work, because right about now it's not nothing too tough. It's just you're dropping. That's how you're getting in. It's when shit hits the fan that you're stuck in there. That there's nowhere else for you to go. So it's either you know
your face now, isn't it?
But you're deep in it, because the next and what they will do to make you deep in it, they'll give you a proper job to make you proper deep in it.
So when you say proper job,
it's like as a setup, really.
What do you
it's a setup, but you have to do. You have to do like. I wonder if I should wear it like a face mask now.
You say you got to do work.
Yeah, you have to do work. Yeah, you have to do work.
I wouldn't want you in any mask.
You got to do work, and then you're cemented in it. So that if you go down, everybody goes down. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then, like I said, you're only a 13-year-old child having to take on the responsibility of a grown man. So when the police are coming to you 24/7, arresting you, I don't understand how these boys don't think, I've been arrested like 20 times, I'm going to go down, they're watching me. Sometimes it's a joke, right? But then other times they're too scared
to speak.
I see.
Yeah, they're too scared. So they know their life is being destroyed, because come on now, our children are not stupid. If you get arrested 26 times at 13, you know by the time you're 20, there's no hope in hell you're going to get a job.
Exactly.
Yeah? So that means, so what these guys have done, they've conditioned these boys
already.
That's their life. That is their life, and if it's not their life, how you get out of it? You die.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this is how serious it is, and the government know this. The government know this. They know it's happening. I mean, London Field, the police were too scared to come into London Field, because they knew what was happening. So not only are our boys disrespecting the police, the community just weren't having it. You know what I mean? The community weren't having it. And even though we were suffering, the police were scared, because they couldn't do anything.
My thing is, you know, we know that our kids are doing this. Yeah?
Right.
Now, I'm very inquisitive as a mum.
Right.
If I know something is different in my daughter, I ask questions. If she brings something that I know is not hers, I want to know what it is.
Right.
You know, and it's a thing where I think parents need to know what their children are doing, as you were saying before. Because if you know that your son's coming in with a brand new trainers, a brand new tracksuit, you know you never gave him that money, so how did he get it?
That's right.
Do you understand? You need to be inquisitive as a mother. Where did you get that, son?
Right.
We need to sit down and have a conversation. Make the time to have a conversation.
Right.
A conversation with your child.
But you know what? By the time it gets to that point, Yeah, the child's already got the training.
I
They
hear what
hide.
you're saying.
First of all, they do hide stuff.
Yep,
yeah,
they do.
Okay,
Right.
they do hide stuff. So as a parent, it's your house. You go to your child's bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
But then you get the child, because now I'm leading off to the ones that get abusive and get loud with their parents. So you get the child, don't go in my room, that's my room. But don't forget, we're women, we weren't born to be a man. I don't want to be a man, I don't want to take on the responsibility of a man. I don't want to change a light switch and plug a do this. You know what I mean? I didn't wake up at the age of 5 and say, oh, I'm going to be a single mother. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what I wanted, and I resent the fact that's been pushed on me, but I still have to step up to the role, so I have to be mum and dad. So like I said, we're still little still, we're not strong, you know, maybe we should have like all taken like big gun past, but so you will have your child. Don't forget, the boys are not like little. Yeah. So when you've got that child towering over you, it's like, Mum, what? The mum can either sort of like, we mean what? Or mum can cower down a bit, and more than likely she will cower down a bit because it's a shock to see your son all of a sudden get like that, and he might not mean anything because he's going through. Boy, you know, I need to get out because I've got a time. I need to go and meet this guy. And I've got to do this, and mum right about now she's messing up my. So mum will withdraw back, and she will see it, but just as long as it's not affecting her or affecting the household. And when I say that, it's just he's running, he's coming back. He's running, he's coming back. Then she will let that slide, she will let that go, okay.
Of course.
Then you will get the other mother, that's the scared mother. You will get the mothers that will like have, get out my house, pack your bags, get out your house. Pack your bags, they're going to go, and that's where they're going to go more in depth. They're now street people, that's it now, Right, and then you will get the mother who will say,
will take the money from
boy,
the
no budget training, well, where's mine?
So that's not encouraging, it's not encouraging at all. No, you're basically making it worse.
Yes, I want some of that. I want some of that because now you're in. Because it was on the news. There was a program the other day. It was, I can't remember where it was, but you had a family. A mother started sending her children English to go and start the robbing. They were the notorious. I think it was in Ireland. They were the most notorious gang.
But some of them.
The mum loved it. She just sat there, and kept sending them out. And a stupid person before she go abroad to Spain and go and live, she's still living in the same area in a big fancy house because they can't afford to pay it. Exactly. So
we're not living in that time.
No.
You understand? We're living in a time, as some people will say, the end of days. You know, okay, fair enough. If that's what it is, then that's what it is. But at the same time, right now, we need to make the best of the days that we have left because tomorrow's never promised.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Exactly.
And seeing all of these kids, you know, in my time, death weren't as bad as it is now.
Trust me.
You know, every time I'm laying in my bed, I'm hearing sirens. I'm saying, oh Jesus!
And it's so vicious. It's so wicked.
It's not like, you know it.
It's just like not the normal. Because like I said, back in the days, like I said, our men parents, they went through that. They had the skinners, right? So like my stepdad would say to me, well, "Boy, miss, you know when we used to go, we used to put like the little things under our collar. That's when the guys would like want to strangle us, and they would get cut up in that." They told me a lot of stories, so I know what they went through, and I also know that as a Caribbean people, we like to huddle together. We like to socialise together. We do not walk on our own. And so at the end of the day, with these youths now, it's like it's not your normal kind of like just kind of like stab him now. You know, the first movie we watched was like Kiddyhood, and the guy first did that, and he felt sick after. And we kind of like thought, well, yeah, you should because that's just something. But I don't know if it's they're being brainwashed before they actually join the gang. I don't know if they're taking a particular drug because there's like that spice and there's that monkey thing. I don't know if they're being tortured. Some of them are tortured. I don't know if they're being tortured to the point where they lost it. But for you to actually go and carry out the attacks that are happening, where you're just having a child disemboweled.
That's right.
I don't understand the mentality of your head. So we're not just dealing with your normal children now. We're dealing with another set. When you're hearing them talk when people have the program, and you've got these gang guys who think they're so bright and they can go on TV. Even come and everyone did this right. They've got no remorse. I don't know.
You know what?
Where their heart. I don't know what's ripped. I don't know if they've been. You see this system here, if we're not careful, as parents, if you are not careful and you don't watch your child in schools and nurseries, because racism starts in nurseries, I guarantee you, Professor Winston, okay, he did a study. If you're not on the ball, then you've lost your child already, right? Because there's all these different types. Don't forget, okay, so we're eating a lot of foods, and the foods are very contaminated, the drugs that they give us, so there's drugs that cause ADHD, and there's drugs that cause autistic spectrum. That's a fact, right? So if we know that there's drugs that cause that for our children, then can you imagine them eating chicken in chip shop all the time? It's not even chicken. You had a guy who was pulled up because it was pigeon feathers in the black bag behind his shop. You got Chinese people selling dog and that. So we don't know what our children are eating. They're making up water with all kinds of concoctions, these Chinese people, and we don't know we're drinking it. The other day, a lady had on what she thought was swordfish, was actually sewer snake.
Sewer snake.
Sewer snake. Right, exactly. Right, so the stuff that our children are eating, we don't know how it's affecting them. Everything is chemically induced. Everything is chemically made. So we don't know. They've got a plan to eradicate, and I'm going to use the word genocide. Okay, they've got a plan to eradicate us slowly, but
it has been proven, not being funny, I don't mean to cut you, it has been proven through HIV as well that they made that specifically for us.
Right.
But that's the next thing.
I love to have this conversation because it's really getting interesting. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time. But right now, I should go on to the next one, which is that kids having kids. And I'll put the questions to both of you. Is that a part of the thing we're suffering now? Is that some of the reasons why these children are acting up? Because, you know, when their mothers and fathers had them, they were kids. They didn't know how to handle children. You know, and you know, back in the days then, people were having children just to get like housing, get social housing and stuff, but they didn't get the requisite skills, you know, to bring up those kids. Do you think that has a great impact on us now, which is the reason why these kids are acting out as well?
Okay, my mum had me and at good age, and then I had my son at good age. I had my son at 22. By then, I had already got myself a place to stay, and I was working. Back then,
your first son?
My first son, yeah. Back then, you was hearing people, I'm going to get pregnant just to get a flat, and it was happening, okay. Not no more. That stopped ages ago, because what they would do is put you in a hostel. So the girls are not, some of them are clued up and some of them are not. So some of them will still kind of like think, if I get pregnant, I'll get a flat. No. But some of them know that they're going to get stuck in a hostel, because the majority of them, they'll go and see their friend is in a hostel. Right, okay. There's different factors as to why people get pregnant. A, accident, okay. B, if it's a gang affiliated, then you're in a situation there that you can't get out of, so you're pregnant there. You know, we don't do prevention. So even when I wanted to talk about sexual education with the children, you had the government saying, oh, well, there's only certain things you can say. Well, hold on a minute, they've just brought out a new video which they're going to teach our children about sex and how to do it and what positions and male, female. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
They started that up in when my daughter came to me. Sorry, babe.
I'll show you the clip on your phone, but it's disgusting.
My daughter came to me, my first one, Tiana, when she was about 5, 6, and they was teaching them about how cats and dogs have babies. So pick sense out and nonsense. I did write them a letter to say I would prefer she didn't know this. She needs to know about her geography, history, maths, English literature, not cats and dogs right now. It's not important. You know, what's important is this. But when she came home and spoke to me about cats and dogs, I said, okay, that's good, that's great. You know, I didn't entertain it any further because as far as I was concerned, where's your maths book? Where's your English book? Right. Do you understand? Let's sit down and do about that. Cats and dogs is another time.
So you are able to at least follow the education, go to the school.
Go to the school, and I spoke to them, and I said, I'm very upset to know that you're introducing my child. These kids are not stupid.
So they do it behind your back, though. Some of the times they do it, and you don't even know. You're lucky that your daughter came up and said. Some people we get letters, but they do it anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're not clued up with the school that your child is going to, then you've lost your child to their system, because they would listen. They would have stole your child. Your child. Listen, one of my first son's school, you had teachers deliberately shouting in children's faces where the children would go red and crying, and there's a spit flying out. And the children thought it was normal, shouting in their faces, literally shouting. My son developed sensitive ear. That's stuff that your child won't tell because they think it's acceptable, they think it's normal, it's at school. You've got teachers mishandling your child. There was another incident where one teacher kicked the back of a child's chair, child fell back on his back, slipped and put his foot in the way when he was running, child fell over. That's a racist teacher. It happens. It happens. If you don't watch out, then you've lost your child. So when I'm coming back to this about the kids, what we need to be doing is not just talking to the children about the birds and the bees. Talk about it leading up to it. Talk about you love yourself, be happy with your body, be proud. The person who you meet, start off with friends. You've got to like what you like. You've got to have fun. You've got to have a laugh. And then you've got to talk about sex before you actually do it. Because a lot of the time, the women just think they're just there to be used. Yeah?
That's right.
Okay. So then, like I said, they don't know about their bodies. Again, they'll get pregnant. Where was going? Okay, so there's two answers to this. Having children doesn't increase the violence, only because a lot of the young men that are having these children grew up without a father.
Right.
So they've got something to prove. They now, when I have my child, you know what, my dad wasn't there for me. Boy, I'm going to make sure I'm there for my son.
Right.
So whatever rubbish they were doing, hence, a couple of the boys that are being killed, they have been fathers, but they've tried to get out of the gang life.
I see.
Yeah?
Oh,
so
is that the reason why you think they went after them?
Well, once you're in it. Whatever you've done. So if you've done something to somebody else in another area and you've got out and then you're living your life and this person sees you, then
of course
we need to forget that rubbish, guys. Forget it. Let them live their life. If they want to come out, let them live their life. Let them, you know. But I suppose that they feel like if someone's done something, then they need to be paid back, and it's back and forth.
Yeah.
But what it is that these young boys, there'll be no purpose for them, because like I said, school's written them off, right? And most of the parents would have written them off. Oh, you're this and you're that, and you do get a lot of Jamaicans or Caribbean people say you're stupid and you're whatless and you're this and you're that, yeah.
Right.
So that again, the child's getting it at home and they're getting it at school.
Right.
So they'll go and do stupid things because boy, don't care.
Of course.
You know.
Of course.
But then they meet a nice lady, nice young girl, and they want to make it work. She gets pregnant, and all of a sudden it's like, you know what, boy, I need to get myself a job. I need to fix up, man, because I need to give my son everything that I didn't get. You see, that I had to hustle out on the street for. I'm going to make sure my son or my child gets everything. Right. And so that actually would make them better parents to the child, The only thing with that, I suppose, is that kind of friendship kind of thing, because then they would think that they need to be friends with their children before being a parent.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the only kind of like thing that will get kind of crosswise. But I don't think having kids increases the risk of violence, because you've got to think of it. I've got I'm a woman. I've had my children. My children now are having theirs. They're going to be like 2, 3 years old.
Yes.
So we can't even touch that subject. If you're talking about kids having kids, and you're talking about me as a kid having a kid.
Right.
Like I said, the ones that I've seen, they'll go out and they want to follow the celebrity status as well. So that's another reason why the girls will have the babies. Schools for them is that they know they're not going anywhere. They know there's no jobs. If you've got an A-level student who's just done university and that person still can't get a job, but they're cleaning tables or they're escorting, let alone us, this is what we're thinking, we're not going to make it. So you know what, let's just do what we can do. We've got our money, let's just live the life that we can live. We're going to have our baby, and they're going to make sure that baby is kitted out. So again, you're comparing your life to the celebrity status. And again, come back to the parent again. We must take back control of our children.
That's right.
Watch what they're watching on TV.
That's right.
Watching Home and Away back in the days, and there's times I've got to say to my son, boy, you know you need to look away, innit? You've got 2 kids kissing.
Yeah.
Or their skirts all the way up here. How are you going to go to school and your skirt is all the way up here? I don't understand it. Or you've got adverts. You know, my son knows there's an advert. The guy who got the jeans on, the little short jeans. As soon as the noise comes on, my son looks at me and he walks out the door. He knows. I don't need him to be sitting there watching a man twerk and do all of that. So this is what I'm saying. So your child is watching telly and they're seeing all of that. And don't forget, you've got subliminal messages in that screen, you know. So what we can't see, our children can see. So it's already damaging your child. So if you're putting your child in front of a TV, you failed your child. If you're making them listen to the music that they listen to and you think it's fun, you failed your child. Because you're not parenting your child.
Right.
What happened to the library? What happened to books?
That's right.
What happened to you taking your child out and spending that quality time with them? Yeah, I already know that in the household you might not be able to afford a table. There's no space to put a table, so we don't sit around a table anymore. I understand that. Hence, that's why when we run our projects, we all sit down together. So everyone's sitting singly in their room. So that's sort of like that isolation is still there. Everything is building up, and like I said, it's not us as parents' fault too tough. It's the conditions that we're placed in. You know what I'm saying? Why should we be in an overcrowded place? They will turn around and say, well, boy, when you had a 1-bedroom and you had 1 child, you knew you had 1 child, why did you have another? Don't tell me how to have children to have. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, don't make me live in a pigsty. That's not what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Children get embarrassed, they can't bring their friends back. Again, all them kind of feelings.
Psychologically, it does mess up.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You can't have a relationship, and if you do, and if you're one of those ballsy parents, but you're gonna have a relationship, you're having it in front of your child. So again, your child's already getting that heightened sexual kind of like awareness. You know what I mean? Then they're going to school, and then the friends talking about it, and then everyone's talking about it, apart from the mother, who should be actually telling her child, when you have your period, this is what's going to happen to you. Do you know what? I would rather you sort of like be friends with the guy before he actually, you know, takes you to bed, because you don't know what you're doing and he doesn't know what he's doing, and next thing you know you're pregnant and he doesn't. You understand what I'm saying? Prevention. We just need to talk. We need to talk.
Yes, and I'll be bringing you in as well. What do you think about kids having kids? Is that the reason why we're in this problem, this situation these days?
No, I don't think it is at all. As Michelle was saying, I think it's about us parents just knowing what our children are doing.
Right.
To understand. You've got some parents that will have their girls having their boyfriends in their bedroom, and you're not going in there to even see what's going on.
Right.
You know, me as a person, I'm too nosy.
Right.
My daughter called me, "You're nosy, Mum." I said, "Oh yes, I am, and I'm proud to be very nosy."
Have the door open, innit?
Yeah. Have the door open. I don't mind if you having a male friend, but I want to know who this male friend is, and I question them. What are you doing? What relationship do you have with Tiana? Mum, oh, Mum. Yeah. But I have to. I want to know.
We have to.
I want to know. I want to know who I'm looking at. I want to know who she's around. As my mum used to say, "Show me your friends, I will show you who you are."
But what about parents nowadays, where the girls will have a boyfriend, but the mum doesn't even know who the boy is?
Exactly.
So you're having a relationship for 2 years, but neither parent knows who they're having a relationship with. What happened to the? Well, Mum, I'm bringing my girlfriend home. Please don't say nothing. Please don't. But I'm bringing her home to meet you. What happened to that? So we're having grandchildren, and we don't even know who the father is or who the father's parents are. What happened to that? What happened to the courting and the? We need to just grab hold of our kids.
We need to basically be more involved.
So cut you off. Do you go through stuff? Do you go through a phone? Do you understand? Were you able to build a relationship?
By talking to her all the time. I spoke to her all the time, and I didn't hide nothing. And I said, if I start feeling as a parent that you're hiding things, I'm going to investigate it.
Right.
And I made her know. Do you understand? And I looked in her face and I said, listen, I brought you into this world. Do you understand? Not the government, I did.
Yeah.
You know? You belong to me. Not the government, me. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And I've always had to tell her, I love you, regardless of what you're going to do, I would always love you. You will always be my child. Do you understand? But there's one thing I want you to understand. I want you to tell me the truth, because if I'm going to go out there and I'm going to deal with something, I'm dealing with it because it's the truth. Not because you've set me up or to turn around, because you don't want me to know. Because I've always said to her, whatever you do outside, do not bring it to my home. And if you're going to bring it to my home, it has to be a reason. And if the reason ain't valid, I personally will deal with you myself. Do you understand? Because I've never sent you out there to do anything to anybody. Do you understand? I don't expect no one to do anything to you. You know, don't trouble no one for you not to be troubled. You know, go about your business, keep it moving. You know, and that's the relationship I've built with my daughter. And my daughter's always turned around and said, you know what, Mum, I love you because you always sit down and talk. Sometimes, yes, I'm tired because I work shift work, so I'm tired. But at the same time, there will be a time that I say, okay, we're going to have a girly night. Our little girly night is that we sit down, you know, we put a little makeup, do cleanse, tone and moisturize, and, you know, we get the popcorn. This time I'm mashed up, I'm so tired. But I still have to say, all right, then this is my girls. We sit down and watch a movie, you know, then they might see me nodding off and, Mum, wake up. I'm like, yeah, I see it. You know, but it's my time with my daughter. When she goes out, let me know what you're doing. I want you to phone me so I know what you're doing. And they have a habit, they have to phone me. Even my little one, when she leaves, I'll say, take a picture of what you look like, because I'm already at work.
Good.
So take a picture. She said, Mum, how does the hip look, the parting? I don't care. I want to.
I hope people are,
you know, I want to see what it is. We've got WhatsApp. Use it.
Exactly.
Send a picture.
See, that's another way that you can, because that's what I'm saying. There's always ways of you to do the best you possibly can do. Even though society is against you, there's always ways. So that's an amazing way. You can't be there to see the child off.
Because I'm not there, she knows what time I start work. She knows what she has to do. She has to be at the house by a certain time. You know, we've got our own little stuff going on. So It's a thing where she's taking a picture and said, Mum, how do I look? I'm like, okay, then great, lovely. You look absolutely. I said, you make sure your teeth brush, your nose clean out, you make sure your eye this, this. You know, so I'm on her all the time.
Yeah, you didn't have rapport.
Yeah, but that's my child.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, no one's going to go out there and say, oh, well, you don't look decent or what have you. Do you understand? They don't business about your child, so I have the business about my child. This is my child. You know, I've seen other people's child where the skirt's rising up, and I've gone up to them and I said, babes, no disrespect, but look, your skirt is really going up, and please put it down. Let me help you put it down. My mum, put it down. You know, and she's like, oh, sorry, thank you. And I'm like, babes, you know what? I would expect any parent who's a parent to do the same to my child.
I said that,
Do you understand what I'm
saying? So it's like a village bringing up the...
bringing up the child. Again, it's coming back. Like I said, there's only two types of women out there.
Yes.
It's the women that are strong-minded and will do what they need to do regardless, and it's the ones that will cower away. Now, there's plenty of parents that won't do that because they think that the child is going to cuss them. Right, because that does happen. See me? I've done it plenty of times. I said to the girl, you look so pretty. I go, but why is your skirt? Because you're walking fields and there's men. Come on, my darling, come on. She's like, no, okay, thank you. And she'll pull it down. I'll do the same thing to a guy. The other day I was in Burger King, and the guy, he opened the door for me. Lovely you. I thought, oh, thank you, sweetie. And I got behind him and I go, do me a favour, please. Your bum is just looking too juicy. Just pull it up. You know what I mean? Because it had the white pads and you can see the bum. I don't understand why do you boys have your bum out for everyone to squeeze. There was a man who was going around squeezing people's bums at one time. He did get beaten up. But he was no. He was just trying to make a point. Because the bums are out, just squeeze. You know what I mean? I don't understand. It's not a good look, boys. Please.
If only they knew where that came from, I'm
they
sure
they
do.
But they've changed the trend. They've changed
so
the
it's not a trend.
It's not great. Right.
That is a very good, what's it called, idea, and what you've just brought up, because I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of people regarding this issue. You know, the way our youth look, you know, the hanging down.
Let's not say youth, because the men.
And the men, okay.
Again, I'm sorry, I've got to come to the men. With the men being killed as well as the youth, it's because the men are trying to put themselves in the same category as the youth. And I'm sorry, you men are dressing like the youths, you're going after the youths girls, right? You're listening to their music. What happened to the separation? You're a big man, you do big man things, you dress up, you pull your trousers up, you wear your shirt, you wear your jumper, you look nice. Yeah, it's a gentleman.
Exactly.
What are you portraying? But then again, I'm going to attack the women because I've done bouncing work. Okay, so bouncing work on a Friday night, it was the mothers.
Both do.
No, it was the young ones, and there were skirts where the young girls don't care, they'll just bend over, innit? It don't matter, And then the next night, I had the women, and the women were in the same dresses as their daughters, and you want to see them, they couldn't bend, because if they bend, the whole of the why? As a big grown woman, 30 plus, why do you have to feel the need to have a top that your boobs are out of doors, and if you just sneeze, everything is going to be out there. I don't understand. Who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to please? And who are you trying to show off on? Because it makes you look like a disgusting, desperate, unattractive woman. I mean, we look good in clothes. We've got like the spandex clothes, got like nice, so we can put on a nice fitted dress, have your boobs up there, have your heels on. You can still look sexy. You don't have to have. So if we're portraying that, our young girls are following suit. So you've got girls going to school in like half dressed, and who puts a child in weave on at school? Why does your child need to be in weave on? Put the plaits back in their head and put the K-row back in their head. But weave on and whatnot. You're making the children adult before time. Right? So the young girls will start to be attracted to the young men, because the older men will start to be attracted to young girls. And
hasn't that been the case for years?
It has been, but more so the girls now are giving it up so much. The young girls didn't want it before. It was the big men like harassing. But now the young girls are like, they want to be women. They want to have their boobs up here. They want to have their hair up there. They want to have their heels. They want to have their shorts.
Do you think it's what they see around them? Some of it, sometimes they glamorize it. You know, where all this
what do you learn? How do you learn?
Do you think that's what it is?
How do you learn?
Yeah, well, watching other people, watching your parents,
Right, exactly. So if mum is out there, right, and that's all she's doing, she's just raving 24/7. She's spending her little money on D&G and Versace. Why the hell you want to spend money on those kind of artists? I have no idea, when you can design your own, because we are very creative. But you're spending your money on that, okay? Then you go into the club. Now your child has got nothing to eat. Your child's hair looks decrepit. The child does not even dress properly. But you have to make sure that you're super doucher. What, for another man? Women, stop chasing the men them and concentrate on your children. I'm sorry if that comes across, however it comes across, but I've seen it, okay? Stop it. Leave the men alone, because the men are not doing anything constructive, okay? If they were doing something constructive, I'd understand, because I'd be running after them as well. But they're not doing anything constructive, you understand what I'm saying? So we need to just leave them to one side and raise our queens, because you know what's going to happen? We don't understand that our children are our future. Not even forget the next generation now, because that's what I was using before. They're our future.
That's true.
Our future.
That's true.
Right? They will tell how we lived and how we were on earth. They're our future.
And on that note, that is a wonderful note to round this off. Oh, ladies.
We
I wish
finished?
we had more.
Oh, really?
I was getting into this. Now you finished it.
Well.
I wish we had more time to talk about this.
Can we revisit it?
Okay, we've been told that we can carry on. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to revisit it. We can do it like another time.
You can carry on.
Oh,
no, keep talking. Yeah, we can give you a couple more minutes. Thanks to you ladies. So carry on, please. Well, with our future, yes. So
they're our future. So at the end of the day, we need to protect them.
Right.
We need to protect them. And like I said, parents coming together is a must, right? Because if it's going to be the point where I don't know Pat, because I don't even like her, right? But she's got a son, I've got a son. But I'm working 24/7 to make sure my son be the leader.
To be there.
Not even that. He's the leader, so you know he's getting his qualifications. He's just done his exam. I'm expecting A level. He's going to be an architect or doctor. He's going to be a doctor. We're right. We're set. Then your son comes and meets my son in the corridor and just stabs up my son. But you're not going to tell me, but you know your son's doing it. You're not going to shop your son. No. You're going to see me crying. You're going to see me bawling. Your future is just taking away my future.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's not like the woman across the road no more. It's the next door neighbour. Yeah. So we need parents. You need to know the next woman beside you. You need to know your neighbours. You just need to just talk. Right, because it will be your child attacking their child and their child attacking your child for what?
Is that where the postcode rivalry? Do you think that's how it started?
This started years ago.
Right.
Years ago.
Yeah.
But these youths need to understand, or these children that are, you know, we see you, we know that you're here. You're ours, really. You're every one of ours.
Yes.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
The postcode does not belong to you, first and foremost. Yeah, it was here before you and it's going to be here after you.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's not yours. You don't have no investment in it.
That's right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Your face is not going to be beside it. So what are you fighting over? That has never been belonging to you. You've just come on the planet not too long ago. What, 12, 25 years? I've been here how long? And I'm still not running down no postcode. I barely even know half of the postcode here.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So why are you fighting over postcode? It's not yours. Always remember, it's not yours. You don't have no investment, and it sure ain't paying you no money.
Well, what actually brought about the postcode rivalry? Because that's what
it was all about. It's like, okay, you could be living, okay, London Fields, for instance, and then you've just got Kingsmead. Do you understand? Yeah. It's the same postcode. It's just right next door to each other. I think E5 and E9. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you can't step on Kingsmead because someone's going to know you. Then they're going to want to come down and want to what you coming for our estate for.
Stupid.
Yeah. And this time they're only going to see one of their mates who.
And that's what happened. And the sad thing about that, again, there's another story. There's one classic case. There was a young boy. He's not met his dad before, and he had a nice little encounter to meet his dad, and he found out where his dad lived. His dad lived not too far from me, and he decided to go and visit his dad, innit? Last visit he ever did, because he wasn't from the area. Now that's what I'm trying to say to you youths now, okay? So I'm hoping that parents have got their youths pinned down to this kind of stuff and you're listening to what we have to say, okay? Like Patricia said, the road is not yours. You don't own it, you don't have no investment in it, it's not yours. Does it make you feel any better that you can't travel? Right, so you're stuck in this little spot. So you have to understand you've created this little area for yourself. You can't move from that area. You can't expand. You can't excel. You can't aspire. You're just stuck in this little cell because you now can't move from A to B. Are you happy with that? I wouldn't be happy with that. I mean, I want to be free. I want to be able to go to Dalston, Mare Street, Hackney, Lewisham, whatever. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand your mentality, boys. I really don't. But the postcode wars is something that is getting really stupid. It's getting ridiculous. You know, it's not so much
like,
like, oh, you've got this, or the side look. It used to be the side look. Oh, he gave me a look.
Yeah, one little look.
Well, hello.
What's that all about?
Hello. He's looking at you because your trousers are hanging down your bum, sticky. You know? That's why he's looking at you. He's looking at your bum. You know. If you don't want him to look at you, put your pants up. You know what I mean? Or the fact that your hair's just messy. You know, that's.
They need
stop
to
it, children. Stop it. Stop it. Because you're killing yourselves. You're killing us as mothers.
You're killing us.
We can't keep crying. There's too many mothers that are crying and bawling. You're our future. You understand what I'm saying? We can't have our ancestors go through the struggles, and they went through struggles
for no reason.
Right? Pick up a book and read what your ancestors went through, and then you will decide. Well, you know what? All of this rubbish. Because most of them are scared to come out their house because you don't know if you're going to come back in your house. And the brave ones that are out there, they're gonna like, well, boy. And they believe that their life is nothing. I think that's the crucial point. Our youth don't have no value on their life. Right. So basically, they will go and do something to get that easy money today and enjoy it, knowing full well that they might not be there tomorrow.
Might not be there tomorrow.
But that's the thing that's, if we sort of like grasp that, that's the thing that's so sad, because it's like they don't have any hope.
Yes.
Society has made our children not have any
hopeless,
hope, not be believing in themselves, not have any dreams.
Yeah, that's true. No inspiration.
They're being fed false dreams. So you've got like them rappers. I can't stand them. Yeah,
love and hip hop.
Right, all of them rappers all bragging about money and it's easy and it's this and the gold and the bling. Yeah.
Yeah, but half of those women have got that through doing what they do.
Yeah, but that's the women. I'm talking about the men.
That's their life.
Oh, that's the women, but I'm talking about the men. That's what our boys are aspiring to. The boys want to be able to drive a Cadillac, a fast Cadillac. The boys want to be able to have like a Rolex on their hand because P. Diddy's got one. The boys want to have like the big chopper chain on their neck because Ice-T's got one. You know what I mean? It's all about, and these rappers are pushing that in our children's face because they're making their money.
That's right.
Yeah. And I would really appreciate if one of them just said, you know what? I'm not going to make my money on the backs of my generation.
Yeah, that's right.
Children, the children in the community, we're mothers and you're our children, innit? So we're not going to just discard you or judge you. We love you and we want to wrap you up. So at the end of the day, we're just hoping or expecting that a couple of these rappers that are talking about, well, shoot this and girl this and drink that and whatever, we're just hoping that they've got mums. But they look after their children because you don't see their children in any of this kind of situation. So they're protecting their children. So you understand
themselves. They've got loads of bodyguards.
But that's what I'm saying.
They walk down the road, but they're the ones that are singing about bringing out the AK-47s.
They're destroying our children, and children, you are listening to that. So just look, the rapper who's bringing out this music about the AK or the this and the girl or the drinking. Look about how they're living. Now you will see they live in a mansion. You will see that their children go to private school. Whether it's rented or not, they're still living in they're not living in an overcrowded estate, yeah? And their wives are driving fancy cars and all looking all buff, and that's what you're chasing. But you don't understand, they are destroying you. They're making their money from your life and from your mistakes. And we need to wake up and smell the coffee because these people are not helping us. If they were to say, you know what, the money that I'm going to give you a free concert. That's them helping you. Or the money that we've raised today, you know, I'm going to go and open up a youth club, and the government can't touch this youth club because the community are going to run it. It's so easy to buy a building, all of these people that have got money, all of these people of colour, business people of colour that have got money, invest in your community. You can get a building, we can all put money together, and we can run this building to save our children. The government don't care about our children, because if they did, we wouldn't have so much of this gang violence. It would have stopped already. It would have stopped.
And on that note, we really have to go this time. Sorry, no extensions this time.
All right, that's okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I have a feeling I'll be bringing both ladies back, you know, just to carry on with this conversation because it's getting so interesting. Thank you very much, Miss Dornelley. Like I said, she's the one running Children with Voices. So anytime you think, you know, the kids, they can her services, she's happy to help all the children out there. And of course we have the lovely Miss Edwards here. Thank you very much. Once again, Project Tomoff will be liaising with Morafa Official. We'll be bringing out some things, how to make all these children, how to turn them into businessmen, self-start businessmen, business that they can wake up and set up themselves. But we'll be going into that in more programs. But for now, thank you very much. You have a lovely afternoon and we'll see you next week.
Heritage Television. Promoting African culture and heritage at its best. From talk shows that concern you to both local and international news that relates to you. From grassroots football to African children's programs. Heritage Television. We cover your social and special events like weddings, birthdays, church anniversaries and so on, and broadcast them live on our apps and online. Heritage Television, broadcasting everything about culture and heritage. Heritage Television. We've got it covered. Do download our apps on both Android, iOS, and Windows mobile platform. Heritage Television, your very own TV station.